Discover the amazing journey of a poor girl who transforms into a mafia boss's fiancée in 30 days. Mia's world was small and suffocating, made only worse by the relentless bills that screamed for attention. Each day in Joe's diner blurred together, the clatter of plates and the hum of conversation drowning out her anxieties, if only for a moment. As she wiped down the counter, memories of her grandfather's stories echoed in her mind, tales of bravery, sacrifice, and honor that shaped her understanding of family. But honor felt heavy when the weight of her family's debts pressed down like an anchor. She offered smiles and quick quips to the regulars, a facade to disguise her gnawing panic. Today felt different, electric somehow, and when she caught his gaze, her heart skipped a beat. Dark hair, sharp jawline, and a smirk that could melt steel. He radiated danger, and, for once, Mia craved that thrill. "Hey there, beautiful. What's your name?" he teased, and her cheeks flushed. This brief encounter ignited something inside her. Maybe there was a world beyond the diner, a life vibrant and full of possibilities. Each flirtation with Vincent was like a breath of fresh air, reminding her that she could feel something other than the suffocating grip of duty. They laughed, shared moments that were quiet yet charged, filled with unspoken understanding of their broken worlds, but the thrill of new love came with a twist of fear. Mia felt her loyalty to her family pulling her in one direction while Vincent's world, intoxicating and dark, called to her. What would her grandfather think? What would her mother say? As she wrestled with her feelings, the mounting debt and the burden of expectation loomed larger. In a moment of desperation, she confided in Vincent about her family's struggle. His eyes glinted with intrigue. "I could change your life, Mia. All of it." Those words sent shivers down her spine, awakening her dreams of a better life beyond the greasy air of the diner. But as romantic allure blended with danger, Mia was reluctant, torn between the safety of the familiar and the magnetic pull toward the unknown. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. When her family caught wind of Vincent's reputation, the wind was sucked out of the room at the dinner table. "You're throwing away your values for some pretender," her mother shouted, while her grandfather, who had seen real battles, watched with disappointment. Tears pooled in Mia's eyes, the warmth of their support feeling ripped away as they fought against the specter of betrayal. Loyalty clashed with longing, and confusion clouded her heart. What she once saw as refuge now felt like a battleground. Mia knew she had to choose, embrace the intoxicating thrill of Vincent's world and escape her family's struggles, or remain steadfast to those who had sacrificed everything for her. Caught in a whirlwind of emotions, the path ahead seemed unclear. Then came the call. Vincent needed her to join him, to step into the shadows of his life completely. "Choose, Mia. It's you or them." In that moment, the weight of her life, the love, the loyalty hung in the balance. As she gazed out at the twinkling skyline, each light flickering like her dreams, she felt the sharp pang of a decision looming, ready to redefine everything she once knew. The city lights blurred into a kaleidoscope of colors as Mia stood frozen, her phone pressed against her ear. Vincent's deep voice echoed in her head, a siren call that pulled her closer to an unknown future. What kind of life awaited her in the shadows? She forced herself to breathe, but the weight pressed harder, pushing her to the edge of a breaking point. An empty plate clattered to the floor back at the diner, breaking the tension in her mind. She could hear the chatter surrounding her, but none of it registered. Her coworkers exchanged worried glances, sensing something was off. Yet Mia felt adrift, caught between two worlds, the familiar warmth of her family and the freezing thrill that Vincent offered. "Take all the time you need," he said lightly, but she sensed the urgency behind his words. As if he knew time was slipping away. Mia's heart raced. She couldn't deny the pull toward Vincent. He appealed to the part of her that yearned for adventure, for freedom from the burden of endless responsibilities. But was she really ready to abandon everything she knew? That night, sleep eluded her. Wrapped in her worn blanket, Mia stared at the ceiling, memories flooding her mind. Family dinners filled with laughter, her mother's gentle reassurances, her grandfather's wisdom, they all felt like echoes of a life she might soon forfeit. What if she stepped into Vincent's world and never returned? When morning broke, the sun threw harsh light into her small room, and Mia sat up with newfound determination. She couldn't do this halfway. If she was going to choose, it had to be complete. She needed to meet Vincent, to understand what he wanted from her. With her heart hammering in her chest, Mia made her way to the meet-up spot Vincent had mentioned, a secluded cafe adorned with black and red hues. When she arrived, she felt the magnetic energy in the air, a mix of danger and desire. Vincent was leaning against a sleek black car, waiting for her with a confident smile. "You made it," he exclaimed, sliding toward her with easy grace. His presence was intoxicating. "I was wondering if you'd show." Mia felt butterflies flutter in her stomach. I think I'm ready to understand what this means." It was both thrilling and terrifying to voice her intention. "Good," he said, his voice low and assuring. "There's so much more to me than what you've heard. I can show you things, take you places you've only dreamed of. A life you'd never imagine." His eyes glinted with excitement, as if he held the key to a hidden world, but as he spoke, part of her held back. "What about my family? They'll be hurt, they won't understand." "They don't need to know everything yet," Vincent countered, shifting closer. "But I promise you this, you'll never be just a girl from the diner. You'll have power, respect, and a place that's yours. You just have to trust me." Her heart raced again, thoughts colliding with her gut feeling. Could she trust him? Was this a leap worth taking? As they talked, Mia's mind raced through the possibilities, the risks and rewards swirling like shadows in her mind, each one as enticing as it was dangerous. "So what will it be, Mia?" he asked, his gaze unwavering. "Are you in, or are you out?" The question hung in the air, heavy and charged, sparking a tempest within her. Mia's thoughts spun wildly, but her answer felt like a live wire, ready to ignite her future. She looked into his eyes, filled with a blend of hope and fear. Would she step into the unknown? With each heartbeat, she realized the moment of truth was here. What would she choose? And who did she want to become? Mia stood there for what felt like an eternity, her heart pounding in her chest. It was as if the world around her had faded, leaving only the two of them in that charged moment. She searched Vincent's eyes, looking for some hint of his true intentions, but all she found was a glimmer of promise and something darker, possessive and magnetic. "Are you in, or are you out?" His tone was steady, but the energy crackling between them felt anything but ordinary. It was a challenge, an invitation, and a warning all rolled into one. For a moment, doubt gnawed at her like a hungry beast. What if this was all a mistake? What if stepping into his world changed her forever, leaving behind only shadows of the life she knew? She swallowed hard, the words sticking in her throat. Could she say yes? Did she really want to disentangle herself from everything comforting and familiar? The burden of her family's expectations crashed back down, reminding her of the weight she'd carry if she chose wrong. "Mia," he urged, taking a step closer, the faint scent of his cologne reaching her. The air was thick with anticipation. "You have to make a choice. Now." Okay. She blurted out, the panic on her face morphing into resolve. "I'll do it. I'm in." The fire in her words surprised even her, igniting a spark of excitement deep within. Vincent's lips curled into a triumphant smile, relief and enthusiasm radiating off him. "Great choice." He reached for her hand, capturing it in his. The warmth of his skin against hers sent shivers up her spine, a blend of thrill and apprehension. "Welcome to my world, Mia." As they slipped into the car, a wave of adrenaline rushed through her. The engine roared to life, and Vincent's presence consumed the small space around them. "First, I want you to meet my circle. They're like family to me." His voice was smooth, reassuring. "Circle? Like a gang?" she asked, half joking, but a flicker of fear still skittered through her gut. "Something like that." He glanced at her with a serious expression. "They'll be protective of me. But I need you to be strong. You'll need to hold your own." Mia nodded, her mind racing with questions. She drifted into thoughts about who these people were and what they would be like. Would they accept her? Would they see through her facade? The car wound through city streets, glimmering with potential, and soon they reached a large, dark building that stood defiantly against the twilight sky. Vincent parked, and as they stepped out, the muffled thump of music filled the air. It vibrated through her, intensifying her nerves. "I want you to meet my best friend, Jamie," he said, leading her inside. The club pulsed with life dancers, laughter, and shadows mingled in a kaleidoscopic swirl. Vincent pulled her into a corner booth where a tall figure with a captivating presence sat. "Jamie, this is Mia." His tone shifted just a touch, the dynamic changing. Jamie looked her up and down, his expression unreadable. "So, you're the girl who caught Vincent's eye?" He smirked, but his gaze held a scrutiny that made Mia uneasy. "Yeah, I guess that's me," she replied, trying to sound confident even as her throat went dry. "Good luck," Jamie said lightly, but there was an edge to his voice. "You're gonna need it." Mia's stomach twisted at his words. A lump formed in her throat. What had she walked into? She was out of her league. But she promised herself she would dive into this whirlpool. There was no turning back now. As they talked, stories of Vincent's wild past unfolded. With each tale, she was drawn deeper into his world, a world of loyalty, betrayal, and power, an adrenaline rush that made her pulse quicken and her breaths come faster, but lurking behind every laugh was the unspoken truth. To belong would cost her more than she had ever bargained for. A nameless dread hung in the air, filling the charged space until it was suffocating. Just as she began to feel the thrill of acceptance, the weight of reality crashed down again, reminding her of the family ties she was leaving behind. With a forced smile, she tried to lean into the moment, but uncertainty loomed like a storm cloud. Suddenly, Vincent leaned closer, his voice low and coaxing. "Remember, Mia, there's a price to pay for power, and once you step over that line, it's hard to go back." What did this mean for her? And would she be ready for the cost? Mia took a deep breath as the vibrant beats of the club surrounded her. Each pulse seemed to echo her racing heart, matching the excitement and anxiety swirling within. She glanced at Vincent, who was animatedly recounting a misadventure involving a stolen car and a wild escape. His eyes sparkled with mischief, and for a fleeting moment, doubt faded away. Maybe this was what she needed, a taste of something real, something bold, but as the laughter around her swelled, so did the whispers of her conscience. What lay beneath this party atmosphere was still a mystery, and in the recesses of her mind, she could hear the unease whispering for her to return home. "Hey, you okay?" Vincent's voice cut through her thoughts, pulling her back from the edge. Mia nodded, forcing a smile. "Yeah, just soaking it all in." "Let's dance," he suggested, pulling her to her feet with an energy that was contagious. The space shifted around them as they slipped onto the dance floor. Bodies moved rhythmically in a sea of colors and shadows, and for a moment, Mia felt free, like she belonged. With Vincent's hands on her waist, she swayed to the music, losing herself in the moment, but the moment crashed back to reality when she caught Jamie's watchful gaze from across the room. He seemed to hold an understanding, a possessiveness that sent chills down her spine. Doubts crept back in, curling like vines around her heart. Was she really ready to swim in these murky waters? After a few songs, Vincent leaned in, brushing his lips near her ear. "I want you to meet the others. They're going to love you," he shouted over the bass. "But I'm not like you," she replied, her heart sinking at the notion of being thrust further into this world. What if they don't accept me? Vincent's expression softened, and for a brief moment, she saw a flicker of vulnerability. Trust me, Mia. I wouldn't bring you near them if I didn't think you could handle it. Just stay close to me. The dance floor was parting as people moved to greet them. Mia felt every eye land on her as they approached a small group huddled around a booth. They were an electric mix of energy, loud, boisterous, and tinged with a rough edge that set her nerves on high alert. Everyone, this is Mia. Vincent proclaimed, his voice ringing with pride. Cheerful greetings surrounded her, but one woman's laughter was colder than the rest. So, you're the one? The girl who's going to change everything? Mia felt like she'd been doused in ice water. The confidence she'd built on dancing evaporated like mist. The woman's words hung in the air, laced with challenge and ridicule. She glanced at Vincent for reassurance, but he was focused on the others, a mix of charm and authority radiating from him. Yeah, I'm here to try, Mia stammered, battling a wave of insecurity. It'll take more than trying, sweetheart, the woman glinted, crossing her arms. This world isn't for the faint-hearted. Enough of that, Lily, Vincent interjected, his tone firm. Mia's with me. And she's going to be great. Mia swallowed, trying to capture the threads of courage that had pulled her into this whirlwind. Could she truly fit in alongside them? Or would she always remain an outsider? As she engaged in conversation, parts of her mind flickered between choice and consequence. She was weaving her way deeper into Vincent's world, each interaction tethering her more tightly to him. The thrill gave way to a deeper unease. What more did she have to lose? Suddenly, the mood shifted. The vibrating laughter quieted as a new figure entered the booth, a man who commanded attention without saying a word. His eyes scanned the table until they landed on Vincent. Who's this? He asked, his voice deep and resonant, barely masking curiosity. Mia's breath caught as she realized her past was creeping closer. And as Vincent stepped forward, intent on answering, a wave of foreboding crashed over Mia. What had she gotten herself into? In that instant, she realized, the real battle wouldn't be with the others but with herself. What if she uncovered the truth about Vincent's world? Would she still want to stand by his side? Mia felt her heart thumping violently in her chest. The newcomer radiated an aura that instantly put her on edge. There was something in the way he surveyed the scene, as if he could see right through her, right into her flaws and fears. Every laugh and cheer around her dulled to a faint echo. Vincent, huh? I don't believe we've met. The man's gaze shifted, locking onto Mia with an intensity that stole her breath. And you must be the girl everyone's talking about. She forced herself to stay calm, but her fingers fidgeted with her necklace. Vincent was busy exchanging a casual handshake with the stranger, his back turned to her. With each passing second, Mia felt more exposed, like she was standing on a tightrope with no safety net beneath. I'm Mia, she managed to say, her voice barely cutting through the murmur of the club. Interesting to see you here, Mia. He smiled, but the warmth that should have accompanied such an expression was missing. Vincent tends to keep the best for himself. Yep, that's me, Vincent chimed in, oblivious to the tension. Mia's someone special. You'll see. The newcomer, who she learned was called Marco, raised an eyebrow, and a smirk played on his lips. Special? In what way? The kind that shakes things up? Mia's pulse quickened. The stakes were higher than she'd anticipated. Was this a game? An initiation? Listen, we just met, she said, trying to play it cool, but I'm really here to support Vincent. Support, huh? Marco leaned back, crossing his arms, but his eyes bored into her. You'll need more than that if you plan to stick around in this crowd. It's not all fun and games. Each word felt like a direct blow, and Mia's gut twisted. She could see the shadows stirring among the group. As people laughed, the tone of the laughter took on a different edge. Was it a warning? Pity? Come on, Marco, Vincent interrupted, clearly annoyed. Lay off her. Mia doesn't have to prove anything to you. She's here for a good time. Let us keep it that way. But Marco wasn't fazed. A good time? In this world, you'll find that good times fade faster than your hopes if you can't keep up. Mia felt the heat creeping up her neck. Vincent caught her eye, his expression shifting from annoyance to concern. Forget him, Mia. He's always trying to stir things up. Yet, as much as she tried to brush it off, the words sank in. I'm not afraid, she declared, more to herself than anyone. Good, Marco said, his tone thick with challenge. You'll need that fire, especially when the real game starts. The energy in the booth shifted again, a tension-laden pause hung in the air as if everyone was weighing her response. Mia felt the weight of their collective gaze, each pair of eyes sizing her up. Let us see how she fares, Marco said, his tone dripping with skepticism. In that moment, determination ignited within her. Maybe she wasn't ready for everything this world entailed, but she would not back down. Everything she had been through led her here, she wouldn't let it slip away without a fight. Just watch me, she found herself saying, her voice steadier than she felt. Vincent's eyes widened in pride, and for a brief moment, the air lightened. But the challenge hung heavy, and deep down, Mia knew they were at the edge of something much bigger. Could she really take on this world and prove herself, or would she be swallowed whole by the dangers lurking just beneath the surface? Just then, a loud commotion broke out behind them, drunken shouts and a crashing noise that sent ripples through the crowd. What now? Vincent muttered, instinctively stepping closer to Mia, shielding her. The atmosphere shifted, turning electric as everyone glanced toward the source of the chaos. Fear mixed with intrigue sparked in her chest. The night was far from over, and it felt like they were just about to step into something dark and thrilling. What kind of initiation awaited her? And would she embrace it, or find herself spiraling into the depths of a world she never imagined joining? The noise escalated, louder now, thick with drunken bravado and the clash of glass. Mia turned her head, her heart racing as she tried to catch a glimpse of what was happening. Shadows shifted within the packed club, the crowd parting to reveal a scuffle at the far end of the room. Stay close to me, Vincent said, his voice low but firm. Mia nodded, her hands trembling slightly. The crowd roared dementedly, a mix of fascination and fear. A part of her wanted to step back, to hide from whatever chaos was unfolding. But another part, the fire ignited just minutes ago, urged her forward. Maybe this was her moment. Vincent's protectiveness wrapped around her, yet she could sense his tension. Marco, watching with a smug smile, looked like a cat observing its prey. Looks like your evening's about to get even more interesting, Mia, he said, his eyes glinting. What do you mean? She snapped back, irritation mixing with curiosity. Before Marco could respond, a figure emerged from the crowd, a tall man, his stature commanding, a wild look in his eyes. He staggered, almost lost his footing, but steadied himself just enough to shout over the din. Who's ready to have some fun? He bellowed, but his tone was anything but inviting. With the mention of fun, the crowd lit up, a wave of excitement coursing through the throng. Mia felt it too, but it was the kind of thrill that made her stomach churn. This wasn't the carefree fun she was used to. It was something darker, a ruthless kind of excitement, like standing too close to a fire that could burn you. Let us just move away, Vincent urged, tightening his grip on her wrist. But Mia's gaze was locked on the man who now kicked aside a barstool, swinging his arms as if challenging the world. She could sense the energy shifting around her, people whispering, pulling out their phones, expecting a show. An unspoken code dictated this place, and she was desperate to understand it. Do you know who that is? She asked Vincent, her heart thumping louder than ever. Just some idiot, Vincent replied, his tone dismissive. But Mia caught the slight edge in his voice. There was more at play here than he was letting on. The drunken man hollered again, challenging anyone to step up. The crowd erupted in a mix of laughter and shouts, dangerously close to crossing a line. Come on. Anyone brave enough? A ripple of anticipation spread through the crowd. Mia could almost feel the pulse of collective adrenaline, an energy that was raw and wild. Something deep inside her stirred a restless longing for adventure, for defiance. Let us go, Mia said suddenly, surprising herself. She stepped out from behind Vincent's protective barrier, pushing her way through the throng. Without thinking, she was drawn toward the chaos, her blood rushing with every step. Mia! Vincent called after her, alarm lacing his voice. But she didn't turn back. She had to see this for herself. As she reached the front, the loud man spotted her, his drunken gaze sharpening as if he had found something worth his attention. You got guts for a little girl. How about it? Are you scared? Mia squared her shoulders, refusing to show any hesitation. Not at all, she shot back, unknowingly stepping into a game where stakes were higher than mere words. Then let us see what you've got. His arm flailed, and laughter erupted around them. What had she gotten herself into? The realization flashed through her, but the thrill of standing her ground surged just as fiercely. The crowd roared in approval, pushing her closer to the fray. Just then, Marco appeared at her side, an eager smile plastered across his face. Welcome to the game, Mia. Let us see if you can keep up. As the challenge hung in the air, she realized this was more than an initiation, it was a chance to redefine everything. Could she rise to this unpredictable occasion, or would she falter the moment it mattered most? The heat of the crowd and the weight of expectation anchored her in that moment, leaving Mia with a pivotal question: would she fight to prove herself or crumble under the pressure? With the stakes climbing, the night was gearing up for something explosive. And as she stepped forward, heart racing, she couldn't help but wonder, was this her first real test or the beginning of a transformation that would change everything? The laughter around Mia surged like a wave, carrying her thoughts further out to sea. The drunken man's eyes danced with a chaotic spark, as if thirsting for the kind of action that made him feel alive. And against all reason, she wanted to engage him. What do you say, girl? He slurred, leaning closer. The smell of booze was overpowering, but there was something about the challenge in his stare that electrified the air between them. You scared? No way. Mia shot back, adrenaline pumping through her veins. The crowd leaned in closer, their energy infectious. As a hush settled, the man stepped back, arms wide as if summoning the crowd's approval. Let us see if the brave girl can dance. Dance? The beat pulsed louder, a heavy bass vibrating through the floor, echoing the restless heartbeat in her chest. She felt an inkling of fear, but deep down, an exhilarating flame flickered. With a decisive nod, Mia stepped into the space the man had vacated, determined to transform the tension into something more and offering to the chaos that enveloped them. The crowd parted, forming a ring around them, eyes gleaming with anticipation. Show us what you got. Marco yelled, his voice cutting through the chaos like a spear. But all she could hear was the rhythm of the music resonating through her bones. Focusing on it, she felt wild authenticity surge within her. Every doubt began to dissolve as she surrendered to the pulsating beat. She moved, her body responding to the rhythm, matching the democratic chaos of the crowd. They cheered her on, clapping to the beat while she fought to keep a rhythm that felt both foreign and liberating. The laughter transformed into roars of approval. And then she lost herself completely. Each twist and turn felt as if she was shedding layers of her past. It wasn't just about proving herself. It was about embracing her essence, expressing herself in a way she had never dared to before. The man watched, disbelief etched across his face as Mia captured the attention of the crowd. She abandoned the need to please him, the stakes shifting. She was compelling them now. But amid the exhilaration, a thread of unease pulled at her awareness. She didn't want this to be about him or his games. She wanted it to be about her. Suddenly, the drunken challenge morphed into something more sinister. The man lunged toward her, his hand reaching out unsteadily, anger and disappointment flashing in his eyes. You can't just take over my spotlight. Instinct kicked in. Mia's heart raced as she sidestepped, feeling the air pressure shift around her. She didn't back down, she had come too far. This is my spotlight now. The crowd murmured, their excitement charging the atmosphere, charged like a live wire ready to snap. But just as she steadied herself, Vincent pushed through the throng, desperation flooding his expression. Mia, get away from him. The moment felt elongated, time stretching between her and Vincent, yet it tethered her to the tumultuous energy she had just discovered. Could she embrace this new power, a power that made her feel daring yet terrified? Not yet. She shouted back, staring the man down, refusing to submit. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, Mia stood on the brink of something monumental, a fierce resolve blooming despite the dark chaos around her. But the question lingered: was she ready to confront not just him, but also the repercussions of claiming her newfound strength? As the crowd's energy crested, Mia's heart thundered in her chest. The night was about to shift drastically, yet she realized the true transformation lay not just in stepping forward, but in knowing what came next. What awaited her in this darkened dance with defiance? The moment hung heavy in the air, a fragile tension thick enough to taste. Mia could see the struggle playing out in Vincent's eyes, a mix of fear, frustration, and urgency. She felt the crowd whirl around her, their pulse matching her own wild heart. The drunken man stepped forward, his aggression unfurling like a banner of chaos that threatened to drown her momentum. Come on, girl. Show me what you're made of. His challenge echoed, taunting her, but it wasn't just bravado that fueled her now, it was something deeper. The familiar mix of fear and defiance ignited a fire inside her. The crowd hung on the precipice of uncertainty, waiting for her next move. Mia shifted her stance, her body aligning with the rhythm pulsing through the speakers. This wasn't just a dance anymore, it was a battle of wills, identity, and power. It felt surreal. Here she was, standing tall in a space that had once felt constrictive, ready to claim it as her own. With a fierce resolve, she locked eyes with the man, who had expected her to flinch. Instead, she stepped closer, navigating the fragile line between confidence and boldness. I'm not scared of you, she declared, her voice steady and loud enough to break through the din. As if conjuring magic, the crowd burst into cheers, a wave of collective energy that surged through her veins. Some of her friends called her name, their voices laced with encouragement. Marco whooped, "That's it, Mia. Own it." Fueled by their support, she spun into her next move, her body flowing gracefully, every gesture a defiance of her previous fears. She felt the music wash over her, a seamless current guiding her as she let go of the boundaries that had once held her back, but the man wasn't finished yet. He lunged again, anger clawing at him as the crowd roared louder, filling the space with a chaotic vibrancy. You think you can take this from me? I'm the star of this show. The challenge punctured the air between them. Mia did not back down. Instead, she used his anger like a springboard, something to propel her further. You don't own this moment, she replied, feeling the strength of her voice resonate with the audience. We're all stars when we dare to shine. In that instant, something shifted in the atmosphere. The crowd leaned forward, hungry for more. She could see the turning tide. She wasn't just fighting the man anymore, she was breaking free, shredding her past limitations. The man hesitated, confusion dousing the flames of his brazen bravado. For a fleeting moment, Mia felt the weight of hundreds of eyes resting on her, their hopes and dreams intertwined with her own struggle for authenticity. Would they support her as she leaned into this new version of herself? Just then, Vincent reached out, pulling her back slightly, concern etching the lines on his face. Mia, please just come with me. Mia turned to him, caught between the pull of safety and the allure of her newfound strength. Not now, Vincent, this is my moment. She replied, and as the crowd surged with renewed energy, it struck her, this was about more than just dancing or defying a drunken man. It was a step into her awakening, a chance to break free from everything that had kept her small. The man's expression morphed into cold fury, but Mia felt alive. The power shifted, and she surged into the spotlight, embodying everything she had ever wanted to be. The night pulsed with endless possibilities as she took the final leap forward, but what would be left once the music stopped and the lights flickered off? Would she be able to harness this newfound confidence, or would the shadows of her past claw back to reclaim her? The beat dropped, and the night was about to take another twist. Mia's heart raced as the beat thumped harder, the crowd roaring like a tidal wave crashing against the shore. With every pulse of the bass, her body responded, weaving through the air with a fierceness she never knew she possessed. The drunken man stood there, rooted in surprise, but she could sense his fury bubbling beneath the surface. "You're just a girl," he spat, but didn't he realize she had transformed from a quiet bystander into a force to be reckoned with. "Watch me," she shot back, kicking it up a notch, pouring her soul into the rhythm. Her movements expressed every ounce of her struggle, every silent scream where she had once felt trapped. She was no longer fighting him, she was fighting for herself. The crowd began chanting her name. "Mia! Mia! Mia!" Their voices swirled around her like wings, lifting her higher, and with each cheer, she felt the weight of her past begin to dissolve. The whispers that had molded her insecurities faded into the background, replaced by a newfound clarity. The drunken man wasn't just facing off against a girl anymore, he was up against a woman who had claimed her place. With a fierce grin, she busted out more intricate moves, each one more defiant than the last. She lost herself in the magic of the music, every beat driving her forward, igniting a spark in her spirit. But just as she thought she had won the crowd, she noticed Vincent standing at the perimeter, his worry etched deeply on his face. His eyes were wide with apprehension, and she felt a pang of guilt twist inside her. Was she leaving him behind in this moment of liberation? "Get him out of your head. Focus on you," she whispered fiercely to herself, closing her eyes for a split second to center her energy. "You deserve this." When she opened her eyes again, she refocused on her opponent. The man charged at her, and just as he did, Mia shifted into a powerful spin, almost a dance move, directed right into him. He stumbled back, off balance, his bravado cracking. "Is that all you've got?" she taunted, pushing her limits, perhaps too far. But the risk felt exhilarating, intoxicating, a wild rush she had never experienced before. She could see the shift in the crowd's energy, a collective gasp followed by cheers erupting around her. Then it happened, an unexpected flicker of his hand. The drunken man reached for her, desperation welling in his actions. "You think you're better than me?" His voice crackled with anger and hurt. "I don't have to be better than you," Mia countered, her heart still pounding. "I just have to be me." And as she said it, she meant it with every fiber of her being. Vincent finally moved closer, breaking through the crowd barrier. "Mia, please, enough." His desperation cut through the music like a knife. But she couldn't hear him anymore. She was caught in a whirlwind, the dance, the crowd, the challenge. She danced closer, facing her fears head-on. The drunken man's anger faded into a mix of embarrassment and confusion. He was losing control, and she was just beginning to step into hers, and then came the final chord of the song. It echoed through the room, signaling the end of this battle. Mia stood, breathless and exhilarated, just as the last notes faded away. The moment felt monumental, but shadows loomed in her mind. Had she really broken free, or would this confidence vanish when daylight broke? As the crowd erupted in applause, Mia turned to Vincent, and in that instant, their eyes locked. What would he say? Would he embrace her transformation or mourn what she had left behind? One question lingered in the space between them. After tonight, who would they really be? Mia stood at the epicenter of the roaring crowd, adrenaline still coursing through her veins. The music faded, yet the electric energy pulsed like a heartbeat. Excitement turned to relief as she glanced back at Vincent. His eyes were a swirl of emotions, fear, pride, and something else she couldn't quite place. Mia, that was insane. He stepped forward, brushing a stray lock of hair from her face. His touch sent a jolt through her, mixing warmth with the lingering chill of uncertainty. You've got to understand, this isn't just a game. It's serious. I know, she replied, her voice steady. But I needed to show them, I needed to show myself. Vincent looked deep into her eyes, searching for truth. You're not just a girl from a diner anymore, Mia. You're something entirely different now, he said, pride blooming on his face as the crowd continued to cheer. But beneath his encouraging words, doubt lingered. Would stepping into this world truly mean leaving everything behind? Marco approached, a knowing smile plastered on his face. Welcome to the family, Mia. If you think that was a show, just wait until you see what we really do. A chill wedged itself into her spine. Family? Was that what this was? Or was it a trap cloaked in excitement? Looking at Vincent, she saw a flicker of doubt mirrored in his eyes. I didn't join for trouble. I did this for something real, she murmured, shaking off the weight of uncertainty. I have to make sure I'm still me in all this. Vincent nodded, the warmth still flickering in his eyes. You don't lose yourself unless you let go. Just remember, there are costs involved. Before Mia could respond, a loud crash shattered the moment. A group of angry men burst through the entrance, hollering and looking for trouble. Instinctively, Vincent stepped in front of her, shielding her from the chaos. Stay behind me, he demanded, teeth grit, but Mia felt the fire of determination swell again. She had just fought for her place, found a part of herself, and now she would not let fear take over. Pushing past Vincent, she stepped into the fray. The air thickened as the men advanced, eyes wild with confrontation. No, she shouted, voice ringing clear above the clamor. We don't need to do this. You don't own this place, and you don't own us. The crowd fell silent, a collective gasp replacing the chaos. The lead figure, taken aback by her audacity, sneered. Who do you think you are? I'm Mia, she said, grounding her voice with undeniable strength. And you're not welcome here. Vincent's eyes widened. Was it possible she had truly found her voice? The crowd shifted behind her, bolstering her resolve. Murmurs arose. Who is she? She has guts. With every heartbeat, Mia leaned into the energy, feeling the support of the crowd pulse through her. This was more than just a nightclub, it was a community, one she wanted to claim. This isn't just about power. It's about respect. We're not going to let intimidation drown our voices. The lead men's bravado faltered, they exchanged glances, uncertain. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. The tension snapped. Get out. One of them shouted, but now it lacked conviction. The crowd surged closer, rallying to Mia's side, ready to stand up. Vincent stepped closer, finally breaking the barriers of apprehension. You heard her. If you're not here to dance or enjoy life, you need to leave. The energy shifted palpably as the intimidating group took notice of the unity building around Mia. One by one, the challengers backed away, unwilling to face the collective fire of community spirit ignited by her. Let us go. The leader spat, turning away, dragging his crew with him. Mia couldn't help but let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. The nightclub burst into applause, cheers erupting like fireworks. Mia! 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 Filled the air, and she felt like she could fly. Vincent, his expression flooded with admiration, took her hands, squeezing them firmly. You are incredible. You really are. That was empowering? She interrupted, a laugh spilling from her lips. She had never felt more alive. Exactly that. His gaze softened, the walls of his earlier apprehension crumbling. You've changed everything. Mia's heart soared. For the first time, she felt like she had power not just through the thrill of danger, but through confidence in herself and her ability to stand for what mattered. As the chaos dissolved, Mia looked around at the many faces. She could truly be a part of something bigger, something more than just a life in the diner filled with stresses and limitations. Everything felt new, a sunrise after a long night, but as reality settled back in, so did the complexity of choices ahead. She had defied darkness, but what lay ahead was still uncertain. Standing strong in this previously unfamiliar world, solitude and community now danced together like the rhythms of the music around her. "Whatever comes next, we face it together," Vincent said, eyes sparkling with determination. Mia grinned, feeling power course through every vein, strong and steady now. Together. In that moment, they turned back to the pulsing heart of the nightclub, knowing life had shifted irrevocably. Embrace your own journey. Don't wait to step into your power, just like Mia did. If you loved the transformation, make sure to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support our community. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this thrilling ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support. This is the moment. Don't wait not even one more second to share.